I want to connect some dots between the campus protests, the Filton25 now on trial in the UK for allegedly destroying drones at an Israeli-owned arms facility, and the electoral win of Darya-Lisa Chevalier. This is about who gets to speak and how. In 1993, Edward Said wrote, "The power to narrate or to block other narratives from forming and emerging is very important to culture and imperialism and constitutes one of the main connections between them." In the spring of 2024, students were disrupting normal business to protest genocide, but also forming spontaneous interfaith and cross-cultural communities. Democratic governors in the US and the Liberal government here in Canada greenlit militarized police to crack their heads. This was one of many bipartisan steps to Trump's NPSM 7 and Canada's new surveillance laws. But some of the worst behavior I saw in response to these kids came from boomer and Gen X liberals and centrists who not only failed to stand up for them, but actively repeated right-wing talking points that these kids were privileged, misguided, they didn't know anything about the world, they would harm the Harris campaign. So these folks had a knee-jerk and fragile reaction to the disorder of dissent, and they decided that the kids were stupid so that they didn't have to listen to them about their own complicity in genocide. Over to the UK. The Filton25 are Palestine Action-associated activists who've been charged under a joint enterprise provision, facing the same charges even though only 6 were present at the action. I've got a full interview with one of the parents of the accused coming up this week on Anti-Fascist Dad podcast, where we'll unpack the following. 4 defendants have been convicted and sentenced to 5 to 7 years in prison, but how that happened is absurd. Justice Johnson ruled that the defendants could not present the lawful excuse that they were preventing harm. This is a defense enshrined in British law. In other words, they could not tell the jury why they had taken sledgehammers to destroy drones, which was to prevent them from killing civilians in Gaza. He ruled that their story and reasons were immaterial to the damage allegedly caused. But then he went farther, trying the case under terrorism provisions that led to the extreme sentences, but also concealing this framework from the jury. So he didn't let the young people speak. He gave them their intentions after their peers convicted them. To New York. Over the next months, liberals and centrists will tell you that Darya-Lisa Chevalier is also stupid, naive, even pro-terrorism on the basis of protesting a coming genocide too early. And they will do that at the expense of or to avoid learning or caring about or citing her views. And yet she won. And in case you missed it, part of why she ran was because Adriano Aspayat did not do shit to help her comrade Mahmoud Khalil. So here's Said again. The power to narrate or to block other narratives from forming and emerging is very important to culture and imperialism and constitutes one of the main connections between them.